because I was, well, hold on, I'll just start from over. So anyway, I'll try to make this brief. You probably have another appointment, right? What's your next?
I have a two show day after this. I just had an interview right before this,
Okay, do you have
but
another one after this? Okay, all right, we're wrapping up. So, all right. So sorry.
it's
Um,
okay.
Everyone, it's John Gonzalez. Welcome to today's podcast. The show is called By All Means. And if you have not been to the podcast before, we talk to producers, actors, people behind the scenes of theater around the country, mainly in Michigan, because I'm based in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And we cover the whole state of Michigan, whether it's Detroit, Lansing, Traverse City, Marquette. We try to find a good show in the state of Michigan. And joining us on the show today is Madison Deadman. How you doing, Madison?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I messed up on the time we are supposed to Zoom. I apologize for that.
It's okay. It happens.
It does happen. We look forward to seeing you. You're going to be in Grand Rapids. Yeah, I'm in Grand Rapids. You're going to be in East Lansing. It's coming up January 16th through the 2024 at the Wharton Center in East Lansing. I know you've been there before. I'm sure. And we're excited to have Mamma Mia back in Michigan, back on the road, right? It's been 2017 since the last national tour. You must be excited to be on the tour. I know it opened up in October, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm really excited. It's my first tour, which has been incredible. Um, but yeah, we opened November 2nd in Denver, and we're on the first leg of it right now. We're about to go on layoff for the holidays. But yeah, it's been incredible and really exciting. Dream come true.
Dream come true. I saw you have a show on Christmas Eve, which should be interesting. But then you have a little time off. You get to celebrate New Year's with your family and your friends, and and get ready
Yeah.
for the New Year. It's gonna be a heck of a tour schedule. I see you're back in Michigan in April. It looks like at the Fisher Theater in Detroit, April 23rd through the 28th. But not far. You're also in South Bend, Indiana, which is right not far from Grand Rapids. So you're gonna be
Yeah.
but why are you not in Cincinnati? Are you from Cincinnati? Or are you from Detroit? Where are you from originally?
Sure. So I grew up in Howell. I went to Howell High School. My parents live in Brighton. And then I went to University of Cincinnati College-Conservatory of Music for my undergrad in musical theater. So yeah, I feel like I'm from both. Like, and I was in Cincinnati for a lot of the pandemic as well because I graduated March 2020, and then I just stayed there for a little bit. Um, but yes, I'll be in Cincinnati for the holidays. My partner Connor is from there and his family's from there. My parents will come down. And then, yeah, I'll be in Michigan. I'll be in East Lansing. So at the Wharton Center. So I'll stay with my parents in Brighton, which will be really nice.
It's gonna be so weird. Like you can stay at home,
I
but
know,
you
like
can't
in
go to the
my
theater.
own bed, in like my childhood bedroom. Like, yeah, it'll be really nice and comforting. And I really can't wait to spend time with my parents.
I guess yeah. I said the good thing about the delay in us getting on Zoom is that I was able to get into your resume, and I'm like, wait a minute, she performed the national anthem before the Pistons, Comerica Park. So
Yeah.
you've been a performer your whole life.
Yeah, I started when I was 6. My first musical was The Sound of Music, at the Community Theater of Howell. I played Gretel. Yeah, and then I started working professionally when I was 12, and I was like, oh, you can make money doing this? I'm like having the time of my life. And so I started young, and I always knew I wanted to do it. And I like started figure skating really, really young. And I even then it wasn't the skating I liked. I liked like the performance aspect of it, the storytelling,
Right.
if you will. So yeah, it's always just been a part of who I am for sure.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I figured there had to be some story behind that. And I have also found an old story from like 2013 when you were in Les Mis, I think, and it performed in Ann Arbor, right?
Yeah, so it was in Dexter, super close to Ann Arbor, at the
Yeah.
Encore Musical Theater Company, which is where I like started my professional journey. The first show I did there was Evita, and I was 12. Yeah, and then I ended up doing Les Mis, which is to this day probably like my one of my favorite all-time favorite shows that I've done. And I got to work with Dan Cooney, who's a Mamma Mia alumni, actually, who runs the theater with his wife Jessica, and they have been such big inspirations in my life. And especially with this show, it has all felt really full circle because I got to see him do it at the Winter Garden Theater on Broadway years ago. But that was the first Broadway stage I ever stepped foot on, and now I'm doing it on the road, and it's just really cool. But yeah, Les Mis, definitely one of my favorites.
Well, I promise we'll talk more about Mamma Mia in a second because people want to know
Sure.
how this tour is going. But real quick about your history. I mean, you mentioned you're a Michigan, so you're a Michigan girl,
Yeah.
Michigan
Yeah,
native.
born and raised.
Wow. So what are some of your favorite places around the state to go to?
Ooh, I love going to Frankenmuth. I go almost every time with my parents. I love Prost, the wine shop there. Delicious. They have the best mulled wine during the holiday season.
My gosh, I yes, we're good friends already. I can tell you, I love the mulled wine there.
I love the Michigan breweries. My family friends own a pizza place that I always have to go to called Captain's on Main. That's in Brighton. Pizza and coffee, some of the best I've ever had. Yeah, I've got lots of places. I got to get my Verners when I'm in town. You know.
Is I do know, yeah. This is great. Well, it's funny because when you're on tour or on the road and you meet people from all over the country, what's the big question you get asked about Michigan?
I think it's always what are we gonna do? What is there to do? Like, and I think Michigan's really underrated. Like, it is one of the most beautiful states in the country, and I don't think that people realize that. And the hiking trails, the Great Lakes, especially in the winter, ice skating,
Yeah.
ice fishing. I don't do that, but like there are plenty. There's plenty to do. But I definitely want to get some hikes in. That's kind of been my great escape on tour in every city is just immersing myself in the nature of each city and state that we're in and seeing the country. So I've got some spots I can show my castmates and crewmates and creative team, and I'm excited for that for sure.
Well, you just gave me an inspiration. I've never been ice fishing, so we could do that, right? We could actually go ice fishing when you're in East Lansing over over the
I've
time
never
we're
done it either, but I grew up on a lake and there's people out, they're always out there.
they are always out there, no question about it. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Does it look like fun to freeze and go fish? Aren't the fish cold? That's just me. No, but you're right. It's a beautiful state, and I think a lot of the when I've interviewed stars from all over the, I called you a star. How about that? When I interview
Love it.
performers from all over, they always say Michigan. People think of Detroit. They don't think of the nature, right? The natural beauty of the state.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. I think yeah, they think of Detroit, and Detroit's great. There's a lot of great food and great venues, music. All of that is amazing. But yeah, no, the nature it's gorgeous, especially the further upstate you go. Oh, I love it.
I spent a lot of time in the UP myself because I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Have you been to Marquette at all?
Yeah, I have. We always pass through. My grandpa used to live in Copper Harbor,
Oh
which is
yeah.
like the tip of the Upper Peninsula. So we would drive up there every summer, and then yeah, we go through Marquette, and we'd always stop there. And yeah, that whole drive it's crazy. It's 14-hour drive, and you're still in the same state, but
I know.
gorgeous.
I was thinking that, like, I could be like in, Ohio by now, and I could also be like in Florida, halfway to Florida by now,
Yeah, or like Texas, like you could be really.
Texas. Yeah. Yeah. So now Cincinnati, now you just had to go to school there. Well, how did that all happen?
Yeah, so CCM short for College-Conservatory Music, which is inside the University of Cincinnati. It's one of the oldest musical theater programs, one of like the original programs. So a lot of classical training, a lot of big names have come out of that school. Is my top three schools that I wanted to go to. And actually I think it was my number one. And my first year of college, I went to Point Park University in Pittsburgh, and I loved it. It was great. But I just thought, why not give it another shot? Dream school. What do I have to lose? I'm already in a good place. So I auditioned again. I was waitlisted. I got into the school. Check, check, check. Dreams come true. Really rigorous program. I'm really grateful for it. Gave me the thick skin that I have in the city, which you absolutely need in this business. But yeah, so I just ended up there, and I love Cincinnati. It's Ohio, not so much, but Cincinnati is like an incredible town. So many great things to do, and the education I got was just incredible.
Well, I've been in Grand Rapids for 30 years, and people would always say, well, think of Cincinnati as like a bigger version of Grand Rapids, right? They have art,
Sure.
culture, there's
Yeah.
the beer city, USA in Grand
Yeah.
Rapids. There's a big beer history in Cincinnati as well.
Totally.
I'm like, you know what? That does make sense to me,
Yeah.
that people would compare the two cities. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the show because like I said, your first major tour.
Yeah.
Were you nervous through the audition process, or how did it go?
Yeah. So I guess and no. So this was my first year doing in-person auditions in New York City because since the pandemic, everything has just been self-tapes and online, Zoom like this, and not really my forte. Like I definitely read better in person. It's live theater. I think that it should be live. The energy exchange has to be there. It's for me, it's really difficult to pour my heart and soul out to my cell phone in the middle of a ring light. Like it just is different. Without live music and all the different components. So yeah, this is my first year in person and I was so excited and just ready. Like I was like, I had my game face on and I just decided, I was like, okay, this is the year. Like it's since the pandemic, I haven't had any work. Like, let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready. And so that mindset was really great. Definitely nervous a little bit, but more excited, more eager, more, it's like the anticipation of it. And Mamma Mia is just a show that I have always loved. There's a lot of nostalgia there. I've loved me and my mom, we've always singing ABBA, dancing around the house. So yeah, and I saw it on Broadway. I had Dan Cooney, who owns the Encore Theater. I saw him do it. I stepped on the Winter Garden stage, first Broadway stage I ever stepped foot on. And
Wow.
so it feels really full circle, and I know the show well. So I went into the audition pretty confident, and it was just fun. Like it was just joyful, and that really encompasses what the show is as well. So the audition process was like, yeah, it was like, okay, this is how it feels. And it's exactly how it feels doing the show too. So joy, excitement, love, like party, like it's just been really awesome.
Yeah, I hate to say explain the show for people that don't know, but do it really quick. Most people know this show and they just love it. They adore it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's all ABBA music, which is incredible. And that's really, I think, what keeps the party going. But the story, it's a tale about love and friendship and finding yourself. And there's a mother and a daughter relationship that is very strong, and then three possible dads. So the plot is like, which one's the dad? We're trying to figure out the whole time. It's a trip down the aisle you'll never forget. And then it's all accompanied by ABBA, which just really, really keeps the party going and just full of heart. Just so fun.
Yeah, no, full of heart's a great way to put it too, because it's about relationships, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's also about what ifs.
Yeah, it's about what ifs. It's about there's female empowerment, love. It's multi-generational. There's a lot of different themes that it's a very well-rounded show. And joy, I think, is really the core of it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate your time here. If there's anyone that has not, or someone that has seen the show and is just excited to go see it again, is there anything like insider things that you want them to look forward to? Like, oh, hey, when this happens, notice this, or that happens, notice that.
Ooh, that's a really good question. Um, I would love to say when you don't need to focus on the story and the principles, to really focus in on the ensemble. We're doing some really good ensemble work together, and it is an incredible group of comedians, I would say. Like, there's a lot of little things happening behind the scenes that you wouldn't notice, especially your first time watching it. Um, and so the ensemble work is like really helps the story go along and ups the stakes. And we sing every single song with the principals, whether we're off stage in our vocal booths or we're on stage. Um, so I think yeah, just checking. There's a lot of special little moments behind the scene, like the main
Yeah.
scene that's in the spotlight, which is fun to like pick up on the little nuances here and there.
Well, I don't think we mentioned it. You play Sophie, right? So you're the
I
daughter.
understudy Sophie. Yeah.
You understand Sophie. So that's also a role that I think kind of gets dismissed a little bit because of the powerful figures in the show, right?
Yeah, I still think she's a huge example in the female empowerment theme. The relationship with her and Donna, her mom, is really strong and really beautiful. But she's really just like she's wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and full of life and full of spirit and super curious, which is kind of how, the whole story unfolds, is her curiosity is at the core of that. But yeah, I mean, she really stirs the pot. I'll say that.
That's a good way to put it. Madison Deadman, is there anything else you want to let people know about the show or about you?
Uh, Come and see it. You know you're gonna love it. I hope to see you there and get your tickets because we are selling out. We've been selling out in almost all our cities. And you can give us a follow at Mamma Mia the Tour. We've got little updates on each city that we're in there, which is really fun to follow. But definitely come see it. You're gonna love it, I promise.
You are going to love it. January 16th through 21st, Wharton Center in East Lansing coming up 2024. Tickets are available now, whartoncenter.com. Madison, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you.